Awesome. I am waiting right now for my feed to show up to make sure that I'm actually streaming anything. And once I know that my feed is showing up, then I'll start doing other things. But for now, I'm just looking to see if my feed will show up. If you don't if you don't know what I mean when I say making sure my feed is showing up, it has nothing to do with eating. It has everything to do with making sure that I'm actually showing up on YouTube live. By the way, this is scary to me. If you're watching me already, this is really scary to me. Because not only am I going to be streaming live, but I'm going to be streaming live without a net. I can be doing this for up to 4 hours. What kind of insanity is that? All right. Let's see if I'm actually showing up here. If you're already here, please feel free to go ahead and comment, because that will let me know that I am streaming live. I am showing some kind of an icon. Dun, 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 dun. Ba, 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 da, ba. Look at my channel. See if I show up in my channel. Looks like there's something there. All right. I'll be starting in just a short amount of time. Just a little bit longer. Just so you know, in the background, what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to go ahead and post a couple things so people know where I actually am. I'm also going to turn down my speakers because apparently it's bleeding through. Wow, this is weird. This is pretty trippy, guys. Okay, I'm going to start trusting that I'm actually streaming right now. A few things you should know. First things first. I am hoping that I'm hoping this works out. This is the first time I've ever tried something like this, and if I'm doing everything right, I am going to have to go through this for 3 hours. It could be to absolutely no one, which will really be boring. But you'll notice on the side here, I have my picks, percent right, popular picks, and expert picks. What that is going to be is as each category goes, and as I win or lose each category, I'm going to keep track of how many categories I win, how many categories I lose. You see my picks are going to be the number of picks that I've gotten right, percent right out of all the picks that have been picked so far. popular picks are, I went to the Oscar website, and when I went to the Oscar website, I noticed that there were some, they let you know which was the most popular picks so far. So I went ahead and copied those down. So I will also be keeping track of my picks against which was the most popular, and you'll see the expert picks. There's a YouTube channel that shall remain nameless, but it's basically supposed to be the Oscar experts. So I'm going to be comparing my output against theirs and just see how I do. We're celebrating the artists tonight. If you're watching the Oscars live, you're probably about 30 seconds ahead of what I am right now. That's going to be a trippy experience, because what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to try to guess the Oscars before you see them. What? And what I'm also going to be doing is drinking soda right now, because in a couple minutes I'm going to be drinking an old fashioned. I'm going to wait until I hit a commercial, and when I hit a commercial, I'm going to switch to alcohol. What does that mean? Well, it means two different things. First of all, there are certain categories that I'm going to be trying to point out as they come along. Best cleavage-inducing dress. Most cringeworthy political joke. I know there's going to be a bunch. Most self-congratulatory moment. Already, Jimmy Kimmel is putting himself in a bunch of movies. We expected that to happen. Random political joke that will cause you... Random political cause that you did not see coming. And a reference to an obscure poet or politician in any speech. Oh, they're doing a flyover of jets. What the heck? And why do they have their tail hooks down? I don't get that. That was unexpected. They must be coming from a ship. And of course, Kimmel comes down in a parachute, because that's to be expected too. When am I going to drink? I'm going to drink to any reference to a former president, the phrase now more than ever, any cleavage-inducing dress, and I expect there to be at least one, and any performance of Naatu Naatu. If you haven't heard the song before, it's one of the songs that's being nominated for an Academy Award, and it's pretty catchy. It's the movie from RRR, not R. It's not a pirate movie. It's from RRR, which is a movie that is basically like a Bollywood movie, but it's been nominated for Best Song. Kimmel's doing his congratulations, which I know he's going to go straight into a bunch of really bad jokes. That's not a commentary on Kimmel. That's a commentary on the way that the Oscars go. There's very few times where I've been watching the Oscars and I've thought to myself, wow, that's a really good comedy routine. It's not built for that. It's built to just go. What else do you need to know? As Oscar categories come up, I'm going to go ahead and list them on this side. You're going to see my favorite picks as they are picked. Wow, I got a few people. Thanks for dropping by, guys. I have no idea if I can stay awake for this either. Thanks for dropping by, Rafe, and thanks for dropping by, Savannah. Silvana, please tell me if I pronounced your name correctly and give me the correct pronunciation. I have no idea if I can stay awake for the whole thing either. Here's the thing. I'm going to be talking for 3 hours. I think the most I've ever talked for is maybe an hour and a half. And that was kind of like a forced march. We'll see what happens. Kimmel's giving his basic speech right now. Every comedy speech is the same. So I'm curious what he's saying right now. I'm trying to find out what joke I just missed. Don't you hate it when you miss the punchline to a joke? What else do you need to know? For my picks, there's a couple categories that I'm pretty sure I'm going to get wrong just because I picked them way ahead of time. All my picks are based basically having no knowledge of the movies whatsoever, which I think is probably the best way to go into the Oscars. If you see the movies, you're going to go with the movie that you like, and guess what? The movie that you like probably isn't going to win anything. There's a couple categories that I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get screwed on. One of them was the documentary feature film. When I looked at what everyone else picked, it is not what I picked. There's a movie called Fire of Love, and it's about a couple that they're volcanic experts, and they die in the volcano, which is really, really dark. But for whatever reason, that was super popular when I went and checked out all the movies that were popular. There's another movie that's called Navalny, which is about basically Russian opposition. Thank you, Savannah. You're in Europe? What the heck? Hey, thanks for watching. And thanks for watching the Oscars. All right, I'm curious, both Rafe and Savannah, if you guys have any picks that you're hoping will win, because I'm curious about that too. A few things. I was talking about Navalny. Navalny is about a Russian opposition political guy who supposedly was poisoned. I shouldn't say supposedly he was poisoned. He was poisoned. The jump ahead is that obviously he would be poisoned by friends of Putin or someone just in the government. And so that's an expected favorite right now. There's a few other categories I got wrong, but I'm going to go ahead and go down that as we get to it. The ones that I think are pretty much a lock. I'm going to say Best Picture. Everyone is saying Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. That's pretty much a lock. Everyone's picking that. Visual effects, it pretty much has to be Avatar. What they did in that film was fantastic. Let me see what else. Oh, another category that I really think I screwed myself on was animated short film, because I picked something that I liked the look of, and that's a mistake. Along with live action short film. Both of those I generally get right because I guess right. Yeah. Hey, Patrick. Thanks for dropping by. Man, there's 2 people watching me from another country. I hope you guys know I'm not streaming the actual Oscars. If you're looking for that, my apologies. That's something that I can't do. I'm just doing commentary. So I hope you guys are watching it along with me. And I'm guessing that you have a way to stream it or look at it where you're at right now. Right now, Kimmel's still giving his opening thing. Side note, if you guys notice that my volume is too soft or anything like that, please let me know. I checked my stream just a few minutes ago and everything seems cool, but who knows? I'm expecting a few other surprises here. Original song, I picked Hold My Hand, which is the song by Lady Gaga in Top Gun Maverick, but everyone's picking different songs, so who knows where that's going to go. It's pretty much a given that international feature film is going to be All Quiet on the Western Front. That's my guess. Other ones that I think I might have messed up on. I picked The Fabelmans because that's a Steven Spielberg film for directing. I think everyone else is picking Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. So, yeah. Yeah, Silvana. I think you have a good chance of getting all of those. It's going to get everything. It's probably going to get everything, which is going to kind of screw me over, but who cares, right? Oh, the other one is animated feature film. Everyone's talking about Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. I did not pick Pinocchio. I picked Turning Red, which is a popular film. Popular films normally don't get any kind of a nomination. Hey, thanks, Patrick. Thanks for dropping by, man. Appreciate it. Man, this beginning monologue is still going on. I can't believe it's still rolling right now. For my friends in Europe, I would love to know if you guys are cool with it. Letting me know where you are from right now. Right now? Letting me know where you're from. Because to me, the thing that I think is the coolest thing about the internet is that you get to meet people that you never actually met. And I agree with you, Savannah. Turning Red looks like a really cool film. I haven't seen all of it yet, but the pieces that I've seen of it, it just looks extraordinary. And I think it speaks to anyone who's been a teenage girl. I have not. What else? Other surprises or other potential surprises. I picked Judd Hirsch in an actor in a supporting role. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get screwed on that pick. Almost everyone is picking Ke Ho Kwan, who is from Everything Everywhere All at Once. Here's what I did not realize. He's been in 2 different Spielberg films. He's both been in The Goonies, and he was in the second Indiana Jones film. He was known as a character named Short Round. And I did not know that at all. I didn't recognize him, but who would expect to recognize him? Thanks, Patrick. It's cool seeing you, brother. Other thing I'd love for you guys to tell me is if my video starts lagging. I'm keeping an eye on my stuff, but it looks like everything's good so far. Rafe, I agree with you. There's not too many modern movies that I've dug recently. That's part of the reason why I haven't been to the theater. I did want to get to the theater at least a couple times during COVID just to support my local theater. And the one show that I saw that I thought was really great was Ghostbusters Afterlife. I was kind of thrilled with how much of that I really liked. Of course, it didn't even get a blip in anything, which is a shame because I thought it was a really good film. What else do we need to know? In a few minutes, yeah, The Boy Driver, you're correct. In a few minutes, I'm going to be breaking out some alcohol. I suggest you do too, especially if you're someone who doesn't have a drinking problem. Romania, Silvana, I have a friend from Romania. She goes back to visit every once in a while. Part of what she used to do as a job is she used to translate stuff from Romanian to English for companies that were doing business in America, which I always thought was kind of a cool gig. Feel free to tell me who your favorites are. I know, Savannah, you said that you're hoping that Everything Everywhere All at Once will win. I'm curious what everyone else thinks, because that is really, I don't know. There's kind of like everyone gets in their own bubble. I'm kind of in the performance business, but I'm not. I perform at a theater, but I perform improv. Can you tell already? God, I hope not. And so that's a different type of theater. That's not the same kind of theater that, would normally end up on a national stage. I'm just looking to see how far in Kimmel is. He's making Mandalorian jokes right now. So if you're watching it live, you can get an idea of how much of a delay I'm on. And he's also talking about Spielberg. Where is my liquor? A few other things you should know. I think I posted this earlier. I'm going to post it again. I'm going to try to remember to have a drink at certain times. Any reference to a former president, I haven't seen one yet. The phrase "now more than ever," a lot of people do that during their speech. They'll say, "Now more than ever, we need blah, 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 blah." Any cleavage-inducing dress, I expect there to be a number of them. That way I'll be able to drink. And any performance of Naatu Naatu. That should be the best song as far as everything goes. And we're still waiting for the first Oscar. Oh my God. Patrick, I'm trying to figure out what your initials are there. Oh, All Quiet on the Western Front. I did get to see a good portion of All Quiet on the Western Front, but I saw it after I picked my nominations. My rule is I don't want to be influenced too heavily on that. Oh, wow. They're finally getting him off stage. That's pretty cool. They're using Bollywood to get people off stage. I like that idea. Nice. First presenters of the night, Dwayne Johnson, Emily Blunt. I wonder which category this will be. It's usually not a best actor or best actress, but we'll see where they go. Dwayne Johnson looks pretty amazing in that peach tuxedo. And I never thought I would say peach tuxedo. Animated feature. Okay, here we go. As I said already, I think Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is going to end up winning. Marcel the Shell is the kind of like the critics' favorite. Everyone seems to like that who's seen it. The trouble is there haven't been enough people who have seen it. Turning Red is what I think is going to win, but that doesn't mean anything. If you'll figure out one thing right away, it's that I don't know. I'm looking for animated feature film. Here we go. I think that's what I read. So a few other things. You're going to notice that I have this right here. This is going to be my running count, my picks, whether or not I get anything right. Percent right, which is at 0%, and it will probably stay there for a while. Popular picks, meaning that's according to the Oscar website, how many people were correct. And expert picks, there's a website of people that consider themselves Oscar experts. So I'm going to compare my percentage against them as we move along through the night. I have spreadsheets. I have a TV here. I have everything going on. This is one of those times where like you're so glad that you have so much technology around you. Oh, another thing. What's cool about the animated features, of course, is that they've gotten so much better. The textures, the way water appears is just amazing. The amount of technology that's gone into them is really, really cool. I'm paying attention because I want to see who wins. Guillermo Pinocchio. I lost that one. Boo. Go figure. Best of luck on finding a streaming source, Patrick. I'm sure that someone out there is doing it right now. So everyone has gotten this one right except for me. How sad is that? This is one of those movies that I thought had a good chance of winning, not necessarily because it's a good film, but because it's Guillermo del Toro, and he's someone that the movie industry really, really likes. And go figure. And that's fine, man. That's fine. I'm not upset about it. I missed my first thing. It's not a deal. It's not like I'm angry about it. Whatever. Ugh. Hey, Bad Wolf. How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. I am 0 for 1 so far. Boo. The good news is I just found out that my spreadsheet is working. Yeah, a few other people told me about Puss in Boots too. Apparently, Puss in Boots had, along with being, along with having some cool animation, Puss in Boots had the advantage that I believe it was on Netflix, which I think gave it a wider audience to see it. But that, I feel like that kind of gave it the perception of being in more places than what it actually was. Bad Wolf, we have a couple people here from other countries. We have someone from Germany and someone from Romania. Last year, I believe I did 80%. This year, based on how I'm doing so far, I feel like I'm going to be lucky to get 65. But here's the thing, is I'm picking a lot of the underdogs. I shouldn't say the underdogs. Yeah, I'll call them underdogs. People that no one else is picking. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so one down, animated feature. There's the other category for animation is animated short film. I'm looking that up. And if I remember correctly, yeah, in that category, I picked something called Avaloo. Avaloo is, it takes place in a very wintry climate, and it has some really cool drone photography, or at least what I consider to be drone photography. And I think what I did is I made the mistake of picking that one just because I love the drone photography in it. What else do we have here? Oh, I have to get my liquor. Give me 10 seconds. I'll be right back. An Oscar party isn't an Oscar party without a bunch of drinks. I will suggest that you grab one as well. Please let me know what you're drinking. We're having some old-fashioned over ice. If you haven't had pre-mixed drinks, I suggest you do. There is no reason to waste your time mixing a drink when you can get one pre-mixed. And by the way, these are pretty darn good. Have an old-fashioned, guys. Why an old-fashioned, you're asking? Because it's the Oscars. There is nothing more old-fashioned than the Oscars, no matter what they say. The commercials are still going on. Oh my God. They must be trying to blast out all the commercials in the first 20 minutes. Wow, that had a kick to it. Patrick, the TLOTR? TROP? I'm trying to figure out those initials. Help me out. Is that Lord of... No, that's not Lord of... Oh, yeah, that is Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power series. Yeah, I agree with you. Man, I hated that series. Rings of Power was just next level screw-ups. I was kind of surprised at how much they screwed it up. Oh, they're doing the previews of the best films right now. Thanks, Savannah. Avatar looks amazing, and I think it's probably going to influence the film industry more than being a winning film, which might be its own thing. By the way, I also heard how much money it made, and with as much money as it made, I don't think James Cameron cares whether or not it wins. The third highest grossing movie of all time. James Cameron has directed 3 $2 billion movies. That's amazing. I'm also a huge fan of Titanic, by the way. I think Titanic is extremely underrated. I can't say underrated because obviously it's a very popular film, but I think it doesn't get the kind of credit that it should for being the movie that it is. There's a few amazing shots as far as lighting goes in there. Oscar winners, Troy. What category are you presenting, please? Let me know. Some goofy banter. Oh, cleavage-inducing dress. Cheers. Supporting actor and supporting actress. I'm guessing they're going with supporting actor first. For supporting actor, I'm picking Judd Hirsch for The Fabelmans. He will not win. I picked this a long time ago when I was much more young and foolish, and I picked poorly. I chose poorly. I should have been drinking then, because at least I'd have an excuse. I think what's probably going to the person who's probably going to win is Ke Huy Quan for Everything All at Once. Having said that, who knows, man? Everyone wants the guy from Banshees of Inisherin to win. When I say the guy, there's two guys. One guy's like a smaller guy. Let's see which clip there. Not this guy, not Brendan. The other guy, Barry Keoghan. Barry Keoghan. Everyone's kind of leaning towards that guy. He's an awkward, thin dude. I don't think Causeway has a chance of winning. I think it's one of those films that no one saw. I hadn't even heard of it until I looked at my Oscar picks. He is one of those guys, though, that just shows up in a bunch of different films. He was in, what was that one movie? I think it was in the movie about the train. God, I'm blanking right now. Someone's going to have to remind me. I still have to watch the original Avatar, and if I watch it, I'm going to have to watch it on a big screen. My friend has one of those screens he has like 4,000 watts of power and everything. I feel like that's the screen that I'm going to have to watch it on. He's also building himself a house, and basically he's designing his house around. The scene that they're showing right now with the skinny guy from the Banshees of Inisherin. It's an extremely well-performed scene if you get a chance to watch the whole thing. What was I talking about? Oh, my God, I'm all over the place already. And I haven't even drank that much. If the guy who is in Indiana Jones' second film wins, he's going to go nuts, and he's going to thank... Yeah, he's going to thank Spielberg. I guarantee you he's going to thank Spielberg. This is the second category that I have picked incorrectly. If you're keeping track at home, this is the second category that I have picked incorrectly. This is cool. Look at Spielberg's face. Spielberg is going nuts. Go figure. He gave him his first job. If he doesn't cry, I'm going to be really disappointed. He's already crying. That's worth a toast right there, guys. Later on, I'm going to have to come back and watch this with the sound on. Obviously, I can't right now. Cab Sav. Nice work, Bad Wolf. I haven't seen Daisy Jones yet. That's a movie that I keep on reading about, and because of that, I know I have to go ahead and see it now. Going ahead and changing my expert picks. Look at Jamie Lee Curtis going crazy too. I gotta say, of all the actors and actresses in Hollywood, the one that I would most like to go nuts in the audience is if Jamie Lee Curtis was yelling for me. That's super cool. The best thing about starting with this category, outside of animated film, is seeing him win is going to make people more interested in it. Because already you have a guy who's kind of an underdog. He talked earlier, he was on the red carpet, and he talked earlier about how after he did Indiana Jones and after he did Goonies, he wasn't getting work for a long time. Imagine like you get two of the biggest movies in the world and you think, oh, that's how my life is going to be. I'm just going to go from one blockbuster hit to the next. And then, of course, he goes decades without doing anything. And then he lands this film. Year after year for 20 years, told me that one day. Cheers to that. Ugh. They're giving him extra time. And the reason why they're giving him extra time is because he's making a great speech. There's an unwritten rule of Hollywood that if you give a barn burner of a speech, they're going to sit back. They're not going to escort you off because they know you're going to be killing it. Guess what? It's going to be actress in a leading role. Actress in a supporting role. My bad. I also have no confidence in this one. I picked Hong Chau in The Whale, and everyone's picking someone other than my pick. If I get this one, I start looking really, really smart, which I haven't been so far. There's a lot of people that are leaning towards Angela Bassett, mostly because she's an iconic figure. It's the Hollywood royalty kind of thing. There's also a little bit going into there because of, I'm forgetting the name of the actor. The actor who played Black Panther who passed away. There's a little bit of kind of that wanting to honor his passing by giving it to him. Jamie Lee Curtis has a lot going for her going into this, but normally when two different people are up for a movie in the same, two people from the same movie are up for something, normally neither one wins because you kind of split the votes between the two people. I did hear that about Daisy Jones, Patrick. Jamie Lee Curtis has a really good chance in this one. My guess is you guys are watching this right now going, yeah, they already won. During the commercial break, I'm going to see how much of a delay there is. Normally, when you're doing a YouTube broadcast, there's like a 20 to 30 second delay, depending on how the software is on any particular day. And by the way, it's not the software on my side, it's a software on the other side. God, this is good. What a bad idea. If I keep on drinking at this rate, oh my gosh. I'm going to be making all the wrong picks, and I'm going to be ordering pizza within 20 minutes. And the winner is Jamie Lee Curtis. I didn't vote for Jamie Lee Curtis to win, but I'm really glad. I love Jamie Lee Curtis to death. I was watching the interviews earlier, and what was kind of cool about it is of all the interviews that the red carpet people were giving, Jamie Lee Curtis was the most down-to-earth person. There's something about her that is so cool. I just dig her as a person. She's one of those people that I think pretty much anyone could sit down to dinner with, and she would have something to say to them, and she would probably be encouraging to them. Probably. So the experts have picked 3 for 3. I despise that. There's nothing worse than finding out that the people that you've kind of been snide towards are beating your ass. Oof. Next to the previous guy winning an Oscar, Jamie Lee Curtis winning an Oscar is like the next coolest thing. Because, well, first of all, she's just a sweetheart of a lady. Secondly, my God, I did not know she was married to Christopher Guest. I like her all the more now. Of course she is. For those of you who don't know, Christopher Guest made a series of films that are known as mockumentaries. His mockumentaries kind of like set the stage for using improv as a tool to make movies. There's a few different ones. Best in Show. God, what's the one? A Mighty Wind. He's basically known for creating mockumentary films that have really great characters. He used a lot of the performers from Second City and SCTV. He just did a really, really good job picking the right people. Oh my God. Love Jamie Lee Curtis to death. You know, if they stopped the show right now, it would be a really good thing. Yeah, she was in a Buck Rogers. Good call, Patrick. I found that out earlier today. She was in it. She was in like a bunch of very small parts, and she was just doing a lot of different things before she became really well known. I mean, she was known as a scream queen before she was known for doing all the other parts that we're familiar with. And I think she's one of those actresses who's just thrilled to be performing whenever she can, which I think is very, very cool. Diane Warren and Sophia Carson, what song are they doing? God, what's the Diane Warren one? I should know this. I don't think this song is going to win if it's the one that I'm thinking of. I think this one is Applause, if I remember right. And I'm basing this mostly by recognizing the person singing. Excuse me. You don't know this, but my sound is down. And my sound is down because I cannot broadcast any kind of the sound from the Oscars. Otherwise, this will get taken down almost immediately. However, I can watch it. As long as she's singing, let's talk about the original songs. The original songs are Applause from Tell It Like a Woman. As you saw, it's Diane Warren who wrote it. Diane Warren has written roughly 1 million songs, and half of them are hits. She's just a hit maker. I don't think this is a hit song. Maybe that's me. Second song is Hold My Hand from Top Gun Maverick. That song is done by Lady Gaga. And here's the thing, Hollywood really, really likes Lady Gaga. She could sing the dictionary and they would be like, oh, that's amazing because Lady Gaga sang it. She also has a very good flair for the dramatic, as she demonstrated when she did the duet with that guy from when they did the thing from the movie. You know what I'm talking about, that song from the movie. She does a lot of those. Someone's going to correct me. Lift Me Up by Black Panther. That's a Rihanna song. And I like a lot of Rihanna songs. I think Lift Me Up is probably the most forgettable song that she's had of all of them. I don't know if the song was written for her and she just sang it, or what the deal was, but I just don't think it's a really great song. This Is Life from Everything Everywhere All at Once. I didn't jive with that at all. I can't get into that. Natu Natu from RRR. Not R. It's not a pirate. It's not R. It's the movie RRR. I think Natu Natu is a really hip dance groove kind of a Bollywood song, and I think it's a great club song. The thing is, Hollywood doesn't recognize club songs. So I don't think that's going to win. Look at Jamie Lee Curtis. Oh my God. Look at the two of them. That's epic. Cheers to that, guys. I was just watching the part where the camera was zooming around Jamie Lee Curtis, and I'm going to mess up his name if I don't read it out loud. And Hai Kwan. I hope I'm getting close to his name because I can't hear. It was Jamie Lee Curtis and Hai Kwan hugging with their Oscars. How cool is that? Wouldn't you love to just hang out with the two of those people? Because let's face it, there's a lot of actors that I don't want to hang out with ordinarily. But those two folks, that would be fun. The two of them hanging out together. Imagine the stories Jamie Lee Curtis has, hanging out with Arnold Schwarzenegger, being on the set of Scream for however many millions of years she's been doing that. She's an icon. And gosh, imagine you're in the second Indiana Jones film. You were cast in the second Indiana Jones film. Imagine being a kid who watched the first Indiana Jones film and you were told, oh, by the way, you got a part in the second one. And then you get to see yourself on stage. You get to see yourself on screen with Harrison effing Ford. That has to be just an out-of-body experience. Cheerio to you, Patrick. All right, so far, I'm 0 for 3, which is 0%. Now, granted, some of the categories are some of the harder categories. Still, ugh. Patrick, I totally get what you're saying, man. Every once in a while, when there's something that I want to see that I can't because whatever the reason, I'm restricted in my area, and I try to pick up streams, and it's someone holding the camera or from their bed aiming towards their television or something like that, and all you can think of is, what are you doing? And I don't want to know. Mostly I don't want to know. I'm watching a commercial for Abbott Elementary right now. If you don't know why that's significant to me, I can't explain. Before I went on, I was watching a bunch of the red carpet things. And there was someone who was wearing a necklace. She was one of the red carpet people. She had been given a necklace to wear on the red carpet that was worth $2.1 million. It was just diamonds. They call it like a diamond scarf or something like that. I can't even wrap my head around something that's worth $2.1 million, much less wearing it as jewelry, as a decoration. And that wasn't all she was wearing. She also had like a huge ring, and they'd given her like, I believe the earrings she was wearing were worth $200,000 on their own. It was ridiculous. But I also made the observation of anytime you give someone something worth $2.1 million to wear, they stand differently. It's a fact. Bad Wolf, how's your Cab Sav going? Silvana, I still haven't seen everything everywhere all at once, but I have seen the scene where they have the hot dog fingers, and it creeps me out. It also makes me very hungry for hot dogs, which, by the way, I might end up eating by the end of this broadcast. We have only done 3 categories so far. For those of you who don't know, I believe there's 23 categories, if I'm doing that right. Of all the films that have been nominated for Best Picture, the one that I hope to God does not win is Tar. Tar spent the first 30 seconds where you're looking at someone's cell phone that's focused on someone, and they're basically texting someone as you're looking at their cell phone. Then it spends like several minutes of credits against a black screen. Why would you start a film like that? I can't think of a way to like get my interest in a worse way. Cate Blanchett is nominated for the 8th time tonight, and I don't believe she's going to win this one. I think that normally Cate Blanchett would have a good chance of winning with just about anything. But that movie was like watching paint dry. Oh my God. Hey, if you're still here, if you're still commenting, please let me know if my voice sounds at the proper level. I'm basically going by my meter here on my streaming service, and that's not always accurate. Oh man. Yeah, I'm sure AP is going to stream an after show. ABC has gotten so weird about this. They decided that they're going to stream it, but they're only streaming it for people who already have cable. If you have cable, why do you want to stream it? That just seems pretty goofy to me. And I also think they're losing out on revenue, because I think if they streamed it and just put like tons of ads underneath it or anything like that, I think they'd make a significant amount of money. Just saying. Instead, they have other people that are just trying to find a streaming service. Documentary. Which documentary? Are we going for a documentary feature? That's going to be documentary feature. I picked All the Beauty and the Bloodshed. This is one of the categories that I'm least secure about right now, because everybody likes Nalvani. If I win this one, I will be very, very happy with myself, because it means that I'm smarter than what I thought. This is the one where I said Fire of Love. Fire of Love is about a couple that studies volcanoes, and they actually die in a volcano accident. How dark is that? How horrible is that? Can you imagine that? That's just screwed up. A House Made of Splinters is about a Ukrainian orphanage. And oh my gosh, it just looks just devastating. I can't imagine actually watching that. Let's see who wins. I so wish that I had thought about why Nalvani will probably win before I see this. And the winner is Nalvani. Ah! The good news is I know which ones I picked wrong before they announce them. Doesn't mean anything. I still picked the wrong ones. Patrick, I haven't seen the new Sparks video. Da 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 da. The guy who is the documentary filmmaker for Nalvani could not look more awkward if he tried. So, can I just say what's really annoying me the most about this is that gives the experts, the Oscar experts, 4 for 4. That makes me a very unhappy camper. I would be cool with any film winning that is not one of the Oscar experts' picks. Oof. So, if you're keeping track at home, I'm 0 for 4 so far. That's not even... That's embarrassingly wrong. Go figure. The one time I decide that I'm going to go ahead and broadcast live stream is the time when I'm doing the worst on picking the Oscars. I may go down as the worst Oscar picker ever. All right, so my guess is they're going to go to the other documentary category because they normally go from one documentary category to the next. I still have a small chance on this one. Who knows? We'll find out. Patrick, I'm guessing you didn't expect them to win? All right. We're going to documentary short film right away. I picked Avalou. Wait a minute. Did I? What did I do here? Oh, no. All right, here we go. This is just short film. Live action short? Yes, live action short. Here we go. I picked Avalou. Avalou because it is a film that has a drone photography. And, of course, an Irish goodbye wins. Oh, dear God. You're watching every choice I've made fall apart right now. Live. This is embarrassing. Worse yet, everyone else picked this one out correctly. Okay, so popular picks, meaning popular picks, if you see the category popular picks, that's basically the people that, if you go to the Oscar website, those are the people that have chosen their favorites. And the frickin' expert picks are 5 for 5. I'm so angry right now. What makes it feel like 2020 all over again, Bad Wolf? I'm curious. They're singing happy birthday to him. That's such an Irish thing to do. Good for them. Good for them, man. Bad for me and bad for drone photography. Can I just say that much? Thanks, Patrick. I appreciate that, man. Disney is getting a celebration of 100 years of Disney. Someone spent a little bit of money. By the way, you can get an e-ticket at Disney right now if you go to their website. I will say this. I do believe Disney creates some of the better films, and there's something about Walt Disney's vision when you went to a theme park for the first time. When you walk into a Disney theme park, there is something that is just unbelievably cool about it. My dad was super impressed because I remember him like walking around and just noticing how clean it was. I have a good friend who's a Disney file, a Disney freak. I'll call her a Disney freak. She's been there a number of different times. I actually have two friends who are big Disney fans. And from them and from other people, I learned that whole thing about Walt Disney figured out how long it takes you to, how long you can walk before you will throw garbage out. Excuse me, before you will throw garbage down rather than put it into a bin. He had people basically research this and figured out what's the ideal distance to put garbage cans apart. And that's why if you ever go to a Disneyland or a Disney World, you'll find that specific distance is a garbage can, is a garbage can, is a garbage can. Because he doesn't want you to throw it on the ground. What a smart move. It's like apparently you'll hold on to it for like 10 seconds or something like that. And you'll be like, screw it. But if you see a garbage can, you'll throw it in there. Oh, they're doing a commercial for the next Disney film. I wonder if Disney and ABC are connected. I wonder if that's why they're getting the free commercial right now. I honestly think it's a mistake for Disney to take any of their animated features and try to turn it into live action films, because you're not going to be satisfied. You won't be satisfied as a live action person, and you won't be satisfied as an animated person. There's very few films that were able to pull that off. The only film I could think of that was able to pull that off was Mary Poppins, because they did just an expert job of combining the two. And that was the closest that I can think of any film that combined the two. I don't know if you've seen The Lion King, but they tried remaking The Lion King, making it more realistic with the latest animation. And all it did was just kind of look creepy, because now you have lions talking. And there's something about lions actually talking that's very weird. Old-fashioned, guys. This thing is paying off right now. The effects of Kentucky bourbon. All right, so let's go over this. We are 0 for 5 so far. We are 0 for 5. Statistically, that's almost an impossibility. because I should be getting at least 20% right now. If I had picked randomly, I would get 20%. The people who just picked what was the popular guesses, meaning just everyday average people just guessing, got 3 for 5. I've gotten 0 for 5. And yes, it is early. And yes, a number of the categories were the ones I felt the weakest about. I'm so hating my life right now. The Hound and the Fox. I don't even know if I'm familiar with that one. All Quiet on the Western Front. If you haven't seen All Quiet on the Western Front right now, it has what I would argue is one of the worst soundtracks possible. It just has this. And I get it. They're supposed to kind of be doing the same thing that Spielberg did with Jaws, except they're trying to make it purposefully annoying. I think it's just freaking awful. It just annoys you the entire time. Uh-oh. Are they doing a tribute to movies about LA? Oh, cinematography. Good choice. Cinematography there's some amazing cinematography going on this year. And by the way, I don't care who wins in this category because they all freaking deserve it. Having said that, Bardo, False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths looks pretty freaking amazing. There's some shots in there that I wish I had shot. All Quiet on the Western Front, I think is good cinematography, but I don't think it's outstanding. If it wins, it's going to win because it's a war film. It's not going to win because it's like really great cinematography. Dolly shots. I love a good dolly shot. Speaking of dolly shots, cheers. What is kind of amazing is that the cameras were huge, and they've gotten smaller and smaller and smaller. And what's kind of cool about it is as the cameras have gotten smaller and smaller, they've been able to do pretty cool things. Part of the reason why I thought Avalou was going to win is because they used what looked like drone photography, which has gotten cheaper and easier to do. I'm a Part 107 drone operator. That means I can fly a drone commercially. And because of that, I thought that there was a good possibility that Avalou might win for that one because they use drone photography in a really cool way. Elvis had amazing lighting on people's faces. Empire of Light. I mean, it's called Empire of Light. What the hell? You know they're going to do a great job on it. Tar should not win. If Tar wins, I will yell, I will scream, I'll be very unhappy. Oscar goes to All Quiet on the Western Front. Blue, blah, 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 blah. Outside of the fact that I didn't want it to win. Outside of the fact that I didn't want it to win, it shouldn't have won. Outside of the fact that it gives me another loss in another category, it shouldn't have won. Objectively, it was not the best cinematography of all those different films. And I get it, man. It's a war film. You're gonna give the nom to the war film. No. You shouldn't. That's wrong. I just accidentally gave me way too much credit. Let's try that again. Did I mention you shouldn't drink and try to do a live streaming podcast? So the expert picks are up to 6 so far with the cinematography. 6 out of 23 categories. The regular folks are 3 out of 6 categories. So far, I have outstandingly picked 0 out of 6 categories. If you had a dartboard and put the different categories on and threw a dart without looking, you would have picked better than I pick so far today. That's pretty ridiculous. Okay, let's look at the categories and see if I have anything that I can win with so far. Oof. We still haven't picked Best Actor, and I have a really good chance of getting Best Actor. I still feel pretty good about my Best Actress because everyone's picked the same. Actress in a supporting role, of course, I was wrong about because that was Jamie Lee Curtis. But I was okay with that. Yeah, I still should have done the dart thing, Bad Wolf. So far, I've proved that I am really, really bad at this. And the funny thing is, I'm normally really, really good at this. On any given night, on any given opportunity, if you had seen me pick the Oscars, I've pissed people off. I've almost been disinvited to Oscar parties based on my picking the Oscars correctly. Which song is this? This Is Life. This is forgettable music. This is a song you won't remember tomorrow. But because someone is singing it, oh man, interpretive dancers. Anytime you don't have a great song, use a bunch of interpretive dancers to try to add something to it. This is true. A monkey throwing darts doesn't have bias working against them. Let me see. More interpretive dancing. More interpretive dancing. People staring around randomly. I might have to get food soon because this whiskey is just cutting a hole in my stomach right now. Not in a bad way, necessarily. Okay. Let's see what we're doing right now. And by the way, what's with the giant rotating donut behind? Oh, I have donuts. They just reminded me that I have donuts. I need to grab myself a donut. Nothing can kill the bite of whiskey better than a donut. Yes, I have Go for 167. It's roughly 80%. The funny thing is, and I honestly think this is my biggest mistake, is this year I decided to watch a lot of trailers, and I think trailers can really screw you up because then you start overthinking things. the best thing you can do is just go ahead and look at the pics and know like that much about them. If you know anything more than that much about the movies, then you will be influenced by what it is you see. For instance, like let's say you saw Bardo False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths. I wouldn't have voted for that if I hadn't have seen a clip from it. Everyone raise their hand who's seen the full movie Bardo False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths. Nobody has. So it didn't get voted for. If people had seen it, then they would have voted for it. It's got some really cool clips in it. But if I had just looked at the movies and I knew All Quiet on the Western Front without having seen it, I would have picked for it because it's a war film. And people like choosing war films because of the cinematography. It's goofy that way. It's not a smart thing. All right. So far, I'm doing pretty miserable here. I also have to go ahead and repost for my friends that I'm doing this. I'm 0 for 6. That's just a whole different level of badness. Can you imagine that? I'm 0 for 6. If you had like a bunch of kids in elementary school and you were like, just based on these titles, which one are you going to vote for? They would get more choices right than me. Just the fact that what's popular, by the way, what's popular is according to, if you go to the ABC News website, excuse me, not ABC, ABC.com website. The ABC.com website has a thing where like you can choose, you can pick your Oscar picks, and if you win all the Oscar picks, then basically you get a trip to the Oscars next year. I am not getting a trip to the Oscar next year. Right? What is Wente? Wente? Bad Wolf? I would love to know, brother. That's not the Cab Sav, is it? All right. Let's go ahead and close some tabs here so that I'm not pulling energy away from all this. Oof. What ABC.com has is they have a page called Oscars 95 Pick'em. I don't know why they call it Oscars 95. Oh, 95th year. There we go. Pick'em. And if you had gone ahead and made picks beforehand, you could probably pick them right now and still do better than me based on everything that's gone on so far. I did not see Aristocats, and I did not see The Rescuers. Oh, man. I should be drinking wine instead. It'll burn my throat less. I don't think Women Talking is going to win. Now, having said that, the whole thing about Women Talking is it has to do with a group of, was it Mennonite women? I'm doing this from memory right now, guys. I believe it was about Mennonite women who end up being assaulted, and they kind of gang together in order to try to get revenge, it sounds like. I haven't seen it. I'm just basing this on what little I know about it. Why are the backs of everyone's seats lit? That's weird. Yes, and man, I got Best Supporting Actor wrong. I've gotten everything wrong. I've gotten everything wrong. It's a travesty. Having said that, it was cool seeing his speech, man. So far, I think the best speech has been Best Supporting Actor, and it's because he was a childhood star, and then he didn't get chosen for anything. By the way, makeup and hairstyling. God, if I don't get this right, I'm gonna be so angry. The Whale. How do you not choose The Whale for makeup and hairstyling? They added 600 pounds to Brendan Fraser. Ugh. You will see me freak out if I get this wrong. Well, maybe not freak out. Maybe just heavy drinking. If you've ever been an extra, one of the cool things is you get to go through makeup and hairstyling after you're casting your part. A long time ago, I had a friend who was doing some casting for extras, and I met her randomly on the street, and she told me that she was working on a film, and she couldn't tell me what film it was. But she said I should send my information to her. The next thing you know, I send my information in, and someone calls me up, and they ask me if I'm available for 4 different dates. Those 4 different dates were for a movie. The movie was called Rory's First Kiss on the call sheet because they didn't want to use the actual film, they didn't want to use the actual name, which was The Dark Knight. Whale wins. Ugh. I finally got on the board, guys. Wow. Okay. So time to fix some numbers here. So popular picks are currently at 4. Go figure. It took making someone look like they're 600 pounds before I got any category right. That's just sad. The good news is the experts got that one wrong. So my hope is that from this point on, the Oscar experts miss every single category. Exactly. Now that I got something right, I will never be a politician. Ah. Let me see. Are we going to... Is this best sound? I cannot tell yet. Come on. Moved my microphone. I feel like I just screwed myself. When the next commercial breaks, I'm grabbing myself some food because, unfortunately, this cocktail is burning a hole straight through my stomach. What's the commercial for Warner Brothers here? Are these guys doing paid placements or something? Uh-oh. Is it a commercial for Barbie right now? I guess it is. They're going straight into commercials. Ugh. Any minute now, I'm going to have to either make food or grab a donut. This is where I really wish I had, like, well, I might have chicken tenders. Might have to look for chicken tenders. That might be a good choice. All right, what categories do I have left that are pretty good? I'm pretty sure I'm going to win for Avatar for visual effects. Way of the Water. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to win for adapted screenplay, but who knows? Everyone's all over on that category. Original screenplay, I have a good chance because a lot of people don't see the Banshees of Inisherin winning. And here's the thing: everyone's picking Everything Everywhere All at Once. Everything Everywhere All at Once is a decent script, but the Banshees of Inisherin is just nominated because of its script, because it has really good dialogue. And I think anytime you have really good dialogue, the people who vote for that category, which are generally writers, are like, that was really good dialogue. I really liked your choice. I have no idea what we're watching right now. I have a funny feeling. Oh, it's a Claude Dubois. A substandard one. Oh my God. Fried breaded shrimp. That sounds really fantastic, Bad Wolf. Good choice. Much better than what I've been eating. I was actually considering like having pizza ready to go. That would have been a smart thing. I'm going to have to remember that if I do this next year. The great thing is if I do this next year, there's no way I can choose worse than I chose this year. I also believe that the animated feature film Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio, that was one I should have changed at the last minute because I knew that I was influenced by what I had seen of Turning Red. That's a bad mistake. Never watch like one film or a piece of one film and then not watch the other films, because of course you're going to choose the one that you saw. That's just dumb. If you don't watch any of the films, you have such a better chance of picking the Oscars. Banshees of Inisherin. This will not win Best Picture. If this wins Best Picture, I don't even know where to go. Don't get me wrong. I think that Hollywood would be perfectly okay with going ahead and having an Irish film win. But they have films like Elvis, Top Gun Maverick. If they were going for something mostly for popularity, they would go with one of those. If they were going for something alternative, they would go for Everything Everywhere All at Once, or maybe Triangle of Sadness. If they were going for dark, they would go for Women's Talking or Tar. Oh, what's a donkey doing out on the stage? She's one of the stars of, Banshees of Inisherin. Okay. That's a weird choice to bring a donkey out on the stage. Yeah, so I need to finish the Dark Knight extra story. So I'm told that I'm going to be in a film called Rory's Last Kiss. Or excuse me, Rory's First Kiss. Rory's First Kiss was kind of like the the nickname that they had given Dark Knight, because they didn't want anyone to know that they were filming Dark Knight, so they gave it a nickname. If you don't know about this, sometimes like when there's really big name films, they will give them code names so that people just don't show up whenever they're filming, which they did anyway, because it's impossible to hide when you're doing a Batman film. Having said that, it was probably about 2 months before filming. By the way, we're at costume design right now. It's going to be Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. The reason why it's going to be Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris is because it's all about a woman who goes to Paris in order to buy a designer gown. This is basically a movie about designer gowns. Is there a chance Black Panther Wakanda Forever can win? Yes. I would be majorly surprised if it does. Going back to my story. So, I end up showing up for my costuming, and the person who is putting the costume on was like one of like 4 people, and she basically they had us lined up on a chair, and every time they grabbed the person off the end, the next one of us would move over, and all of us would move over at once, and they would grab the next person off of a chair. At one point in time, they say, "Hey, is anyone a gang member?" And I raised my hand because I was told that I was a Maroni gang member. And so they grabbed us first. This one woman dresses me up in the most Italian kind of stereotypical leisure suit that you could possibly imagine. And then she brings over her boss. Give me 1 second. I got to find out if Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris wins. Black Panther Wakanda. Wow, that's an upset. I don't mean an upset like no one expected it to win. I mean, the name of the movie is Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. Okay. Let me see. That brings up the popular vote to 5. The good news is that doesn't improve the experts. Okay, so the lady goes ahead and dresses me up in this kind of like a cheap leisure suit, beige looking kind of a thing with a sweater over it, and gives me a lot of this cheap costume gold jewelry. She brings over someone, and I found out later that she was an Oscar award-winning wardrobe person who looks at me, says, "That's good, but I have an idea." And she leaves, and she comes back and like adds a few other things. There's something really cool about like when you find out that the person who's picking out your wardrobe is an Oscar-winning wardrobe person. I don't know why it was. It just means more. And there's something about like watching this and watching someone who's winning an Oscar for a wardrobe right now and remembering that moment that just kind of brings it back and makes you understand what it means to that person. From now on, she gets to walk around, and when she goes to dress someone, they're going to be thinking she's an Oscar-winning wardrobe person. I have to pay the frick attention, right? She finishes dressing me up. She stands back and looks at me, and she goes, yeah. And there's something about that that's really cool, where like you understand that the person who's picking the look for you is really satisfied with how you look and everything. A side note to that, they gave me 3 different costumes to try on. One of them was an orange jumpsuit that said Gotham DOC on the back. And because, of course, I hadn't thought about like what the film was about yet, when they hand me the orange jumpsuit, I'm like, what's this? Gotham DOC. And then I put it together in my head. I'm a Maroni gang member, and they gave me a Gotham Department of Corrections jumpsuit to wear. If there was ever a time where I would steal a costume away from a production, and I won't, but if I was ever tempted to, that was it. How cool would it have been to have a Gotham Department of Corrections jumpsuit? And by the way, of everything that they had me wear, that was probably the cheapest because, let's face it, once you create like 300 Gotham Department of Correction jumpsuits and you put the iron on or whatever it is on the back to say what it is, who knows what they did with them? I doubt they held on to them. They might have given them away to crew. They might have given them away to people that cared or something like that. Not to. That has to be what we're watching right now. I presume this is going to have the best dance act of the entire show because these guys can genuinely dance. Which is kind of cool. And I'll bet they just rehearsed the living shit out of this before they decided to go up. Because let's face it, if you get a chance to perform on the Oscars and you've already done the dance, you're going to go back and do the dance another 30 times to make sure that you have it just down pat. Yep, Department of Corrections, Patrick. It was so cool. There's something about that style of dance where you have to be just so... You have to cut those moves off in just the right way, which is pretty hip. That's fun. And dance, let's dance crazily. Those are actually the words. How weird is it that nowadays, instead of like having a full backdrop, we just have a really large television screen so that you can just change it instantly? I don't know what the Family Guy spoof is, but that sounds really fun. Oh, I just realized they're on a rotating stage right there. Can you see that? Like that front section rotates. I'll bet that later on, someone's going to come back and that's going to rotate. Oh, man. That's fun. I knew that was going to break the house down. That's got to be fun. Of all the films that I've seen clips of, RRR looks like it's probably the most fun. It's not going to win anything because Hollywood doesn't necessarily like fun. Hollywood likes think pieces. Hollywood likes something that's experimental. Hollywood doesn't like fun. Yeah, Blue Harvest. That was what I was trying to remember. Thanks, Patrick. You could see, like, in some of the production stills, they actually have on the clapboard, they actually have Blue Harvest, and I can't remember what the tagline was. It was something like a new something in horror or whatever it was. But they actually have Blue Harvest on the clapboards. I'm seeing a commercial right now for The Bear. If you don't know what The Bear is, it's filmed in Chicago. Two things you need to know about The Bear. First of all, everyone who is in the restaurant industry thinks it's probably the most accurate depiction of what it's like to work in a restaurant that you've ever seen on screen. Secondly, I have a very cool friend who I photographed a while back who is one of the people that is always in the background. I don't know what the term for his character is, because I don't think it's a featured extra. I think it's like one above that, whatever that is. And I'm curious if there ever going to take advantage of the fact that I think he has a good plot line there. I'm just saying. His name is Richard Asteris, and if you get a chance to ever look him up, he's someone who's just managed to get a lot of cool different things because of his look. He looks like Trouble, and he can play Trouble very well, and he's a gentleman. Here's to you, Richard. Horror beyond imagination. Oh, yeah. I should have remembered that. God. What a great way to go ahead and like, just give yourself not only give yourself a fake name for your production, but give yourself a tagline for your fake production. I imagine that like they were drinking when they threw a bunch of suggestions like, well, what can we use? Yeah, horror beyond imagination. That's great. I need to grab food soon, and I suggest you do too. We still have another at least an hour and a half to get through this thing. And they have not even covered like most of the categories. We are through, let me see. We've done 8 categories of 23. We are 1/3 of the way through. That looks like they're going to announce sound. Is this the entrance to sound? That's what it looks like. And let me see. Where's my sound? Where's my sound? Can you tell that I think that sound is important? All right. I'm going to get ready sound, presuming that that's what they're going to announce. Cleavage-inducing outfit. Drink. For those of you who have joined late, anytime I see a cleavage-inducing outfit, I will drink. What are they talking about right now? By the way, the cleavage-inducing outfit looks like it's clearly inspired by Star Wars to me. There's something about that. I would love to know how much reflective technology goes into designing a lot of those dresses that have the sparkly things in them. There's got to be a lot of technology and research. Prost. Yes, sir. Where are they going with this? And she needs to stop leaning over so much. Yes, and man, tag in if you're still around, man. Always like finding other improvisers being around. And like knowing what it is that you're drinking tonight. I've heard a lot of cool things about that particular museum, and it sounds like it could be a lot of fun, especially since they're holding on to a lot more memorabilia right now. If you don't know, they used to destroy all the sets, and then someone started figuring out, oh yeah, people like to keep pieces of the set. And then at some point in time, it moved to the next part, which was people started auctioning off pieces of film as soon as it was done. Thank you, yes and man. Speaking of being on my phone, I got to make sure my phone is off. I didn't even think about that. Oh my goodness. Last of Us is probably a good thing to watch with me in the background. Okay. What category are we announcing right now? Cleavage-inducing dress. Prost. Thank you, Gopher. 14% sounds about right. Oh, yeah, I forgot to update my percentage. My percentage is 13% according to me, but I will accept your 14%. For those of you who don't know, I have a spreadsheet working in the background letting me know. I believe this will be All Quiet on the Western Front. I really do. I won't be shocked because other people have picked other things. The experts are picking Argentina, right? But I have picked All Quiet because it was nominated as a Best Picture. Yes, I am subtracting 1% for my personality. And the Best International Feature Film goes to All Quiet in the Western Front. Take that, experts. Booyah! That vaults me up to 22%. I have almost doubled my percentage with that pick. The good news is I can only improve my numbers at this point. Let me see. Popular picks. The popular picks, to remind you, are the picks that are done on the Oscar website, the abc.com. abc.com lets you know the percentage of people who have picked the different categories. So basically what I did is I summed up which ones were the most popular according to that website. They mostly picked All Quiet on the Western Front. So it's not just me, but the experts, the Oscar experts, did not pick this. God, I want to beat them so hard right now, guys. I really do. It's almost impossible, but I really do. Like, I need to get almost every category correct from now on. Yeah. I've chosen not to say who the experts are. They have a YouTube channel, and they are a group of people who pick the Oscars who consider themselves to be experts, and that's all I'll say. Because let's face it, I don't want to try to. I'm not really trying to call them out. It's just one of those things where, like, when you see people calling themselves experts, and they're not that old, you're like, you can't be an expert about anything right now. You can have a really good opinion. I'm up to 22%. Oh my goodness. I feel like tagging out right now. This is where I should be like, I'm done. I'm out of here. The scores are pretty awful, by the way. I hated almost all the scores. If you guys have a favorite score, please put it down. I will be back in about 30 seconds. I have to grab some kind of food. Otherwise, I'm going to die right now of alcohol poisoning. John Abbott will be right back. Hang on, and I will be with you in a moment. I should have something that says I'll be right back. I'm going to have to add that in when I get back. And we're back. It's amazing how just... go for it. I am... Hold on. I'll give you my numbers. Oh no! My spreadsheet is acting up. Hopefully I can save it. And then open it back up. Patrick, I'm curious why the media in Germany is going to freak out. Aw, man. My spreadsheet is hanging up. Seeing if I can fix this in real time. Every expert does need to be an expert. All right, we're back from the commercial. Let's see if I can open up my spreadsheet and catch it back up. This is where things get kind of dicey. This is the one that I am not sure about. I picked something called Stranger at the Gate, which I feel pretty good about this one. Let's see what happens. I forgot to change my screen. And the winner is... Oh, Elephant Whispers. I did not expect that. Quite naturally. So the reason why I was picking Stranger at the Gate has kind of a cool plot. The plot behind Stranger at the Gate is that there's a guy who's, let's call him extreme, who's planning on blowing up some mosques. And then he meets a Muslim family. And in the process of meeting a Muslim family, he becomes friends with them and obviously does not go ahead and blow up the mosque. I didn't expect the thing about, I didn't expect this one to win. But it's an okay one to be proven wrong about, right, guys? Da, 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 da. Okay. So film. Documentary short film. There we go. The good news is nobody picked this one. This is a definite upset category. All right, let's see if I got my sheet caught up again. If you've ever had a spreadsheet crash when you're trying to get stuff entered, you know how angry that can make you. Okay, that brings my percent back down. Flying. This one, I believe it's going to be an ostrich, told me. All right, where did we go? Where we go? Animated short film. There we go. Having said that, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse looks really, really cool. I wouldn't be surprised if that one won at all, because it looks cool. If I lose in The Boy, the Fox, the Mole, whatever ends up winning, I won't be pissed off about it. It looks fun. I could really use this category, though. That would help. Because no one else is picking this one. And the winner is... The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, the Horse. Now I'm really buying it. I'm not even getting the ones that are like... And here's the thing, is it looks really, really pretty. It really does. So I'm not surprised. When I was picking my predictions, this was my secondary choice. Having said that, if you had to guess which movie the experts picked, that's right. If you had to guess what was the most popular film, that's right. If you had to guess whose percentage has to change again, that would be me. Freud continued to be absent for the last 2 years. What's that about, dude? He's venting a few of his issues. About the boy? Is that... I thought... Okay. I'm also glad that My Year of Dicks did not win. You know what? Hollywood is a pretty crass place, but luckily it's not that crass. Hey, Patrick, that's kind of cool to hear, brother. I just read your thing about that no German movie has been nominated or even awarded, and now they have something to hang their hang their hat on. That is kind of cool. You're not from the U.S., so you don't know this, or at least I think you're not from the U.S. There's something about Hollywood movies where they literally think Hollywood is the only place that they make movies. I'm from Chicago, and they just started like filming a lot of stuff in Chicago, and Hollywood doesn't hire talent from Chicago. They just grab talent from other places and bring them to Chicago, which is super annoying. Is this going to be... Yeah, hold my hand. You might not know this piece of trivia, but hold on. Lady Gaga was not supposed to be here for the film, and I think it's kind of fascinating that she decided not to do this until the last minute, and now she's making a long speech about it. I wonder what that was all about. That's a very much what you would call a hangdog kind of a look. For those of you who don't know, I chose this song for the winner, and it's not necessarily the best song, but most of the songs are not good songs, and I think Lady Gaga will almost always win whenever she's nominated because she's very Hollywood. You can kind of tell. Part of it is she is pretty open about anything that she's feeling at the moment, which is endearing to the public, but it's also, if you're vulnerable, you will get more people reacting to you. If you hold stuff back, you're not going to have people reacting to you. And it's just that simple. Go for it. You were asking me what my number is. I am 2 for 11. You are missing a category. If you don't know what they all are, let me know and I'll tell you which ones have been picked so far. You might have missed one. And it's completely possible that my spreadsheet is wrong. But having said that, I have something that's also counting which categories have been picked already. I kind of, inside of my spreadsheet, I created something that's checking, it's basically checking my math. Because it's been such a long time since I've had to go ahead and put a spreadsheet together that I knew I would screw something up, and I caught myself making 2 or 3 different mistakes when I was putting the spreadsheet together. So I basically put in a few things to kind of check my math, check my programming. Wow, she's really going for it right now. Wow. I wonder if she's going to get the audience to stand up for her. As long as we have that category, I'm going to try to bring up original song. These are the songs that have been nominated, and of the songs, you already heard Applause. You already heard Naatu Naatu. I think you already heard This Is Life. This is Hold My Hand. I think I heard that Rihanna was going to be there to sing Lift Me Up. I didn't see that yet. Maybe I missed it. Who's Tony Scott? Is Tony Scott? Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, she got a standing O. Good for you. Do. Visual effects. All right. If you hadn't heard that beep in the background, I can go over real quick before I go ahead and grab my nuggets. Categories that have been won so far. I'm going to list them off, and then I'll count them off. Actor in a supporting role has been Kai Ha Kwan for Everything All at Once. That's 1. Actress in a supporting role, Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything All at Once. That's 2. Animated feature film, Pinocchio. That's 3. All Quiet on the Western Front for cinematography. That's 4. Black Panther Wakanda Forever for costume design. That's 5. Nalvani for documentary feature film. That's 6. Documentary short film, Elephant Whispers. That's 7. International feature film, All Quiet on the Western Front. 8. Yes, I'm holding my fingers up. Makeup and hairstyling, The Whale. That's 9. Animated short film, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. That's 10. And live action short film, An Irish Goodbye. That's 11. Excuse me. And with that, I'm grabbing my chicken nuggets, and I'll be right back. All right, here we go. Looking at your list and seeing what you're missing, brother. Dun, 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 dun. I don't see animated feature there. Do you have animated feature, Gopher? Pro tip, if you're air frying your chicken nuggets, keep an eye on them. It's really easy to fry the crap out of these things. Production. Production is an interesting category. In any conventional way, you would argue that Avatar: The Way of Water has the best production. But it's taking them a really long time to recognize CGI as a thing. And my guess is, even though Avatar: Way of Water is a really good category, I don't think that they're going to do it. So presuming they're about to give an award for production, I'm going with Babylon. Let's face it, all these categories have their own kind of production things. All Quiet on the Western Front. You're creating a war zone, and they did an extremely good job of that. Elvis, you're creating Elvis. What could have more like production values than creating Elvis? Look at Avatar: Way of Water. I mean, it looks freaking gorgeous. It looks absolutely, and it's a different world that they're creating. Having said that, I think it's going to go for Babylon because it's Hollywood. All Quiet on the Western Front. Oof. The good news is that doesn't give anyone else votes either. I fail, but so do the experts, and so do what was popular. What was popular was supposed to be Avatar: The Way of Water. So this is considered to be we'll call it an upset, guys. It's not an upset. It's a war film. If I hadn't have looked at if I had guessed without seeing anything, I would have picked it. Having said all that, I'm down to 17%, guys. Still below statistically guessing. That's pretty amazing and pathetic. The thing about production category, whoever wins, they always look different. If you guys have ever run into professional stylists, they are the most quirky human beings that you will ever run into in your life. And you will never guess that they're a stylist because they're always dressed in such a quirky way that you're like, I don't know what you do for a living, but you dress in a different way. They always do. It's usually a lot of scarves, a lot of loose clothing, a lot of layers over layers kind of stuff. It's kind of weird. Musical score. All right, I think I mentioned that, like, this is a hard category. All Quiet on the Western Front is... It's just awful. It's just that again and again. I have no idea how it ever got nominated. I'm guessing The Fabelmans because The Fabelmans is John Williams, and if you can't win with John Williams doing your score, who can you win? A lot of people picked Babylon. I haven't. I got to be honest here. When I saw that John Williams was nominated for a category, I picked John Williams. I don't think that's a bad choice. I think that's just being wise. I literally hated this. I literally hated this one. And I'm the only person who got it wrong. I shouldn't have watched it because if I didn't watch it, I might have guessed it right. But the second that I watched it, I was like, God, this is a slog of a song. We shouldn't even call it a song. It's a slog of 3 notes. All right. Enough complaining. Give another point to the experts. Give another point to the people who picked out what was popular. Babylon would have been a good choice. Hey, Danjo. Good to see you. Raise your hand if you've seen Western Front. I'm just curious if I'm the only person who's seen it. It's not only a slog of a score, it's a slog of a movie. And I get it. It's World War One. It's supposed to be a slog. It was a horrible movie. Excuse me. It was a horrible. Well, I'm sure it was a horrible movie to be part of, but it was a horrible war to be part of. I'm beginning to question everything that I know. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Ugh. So here's the thing. I understand that anytime you make a war movie, you're going to try to make a statement about it. And that sometimes that statement will be a little bit heavy-handed. In the case of All Quiet on the Western Front, it's supposed to be about the brutality of war, blah, blah, blah. I shouldn't say blah, 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 but you know what I mean. It's about the brutality of war. So part of what they do is they purposefully try to go ahead and like make everything just brutal and drawn out and horrible, which makes for just really bad watching of anything. And I also think you can make something brutal while still making it watchable. But I just felt like they were putting me through World War One. Adapted screenplay. Oh, okay. They're announcing what they're going to do next. Kate Hudson. Kate Hudson's one of my favorite peoples. I have never met her. Go for it. Looking at ceiling for what? Also, check in with me with what you guys are drinking. Want to know what other folks are drinking. So, as far as categories go, I'm running out of categories that I can make the difference in. Oof. Almost everything that like I've chosen that was about something else. Like adapted screenplay, I can gain a few points from. Yeah, I'm running out of categories, man. Original song, I can gain some points from. What else here? Gosh, directing possibly. But with the way this is going, Spielberg won't win Best Director. Because that's what I was kind of counting on. I mean, how do you not give Spielberg a Best Directing thing? I mean, it's about a director's life. Don't you give it the Best Director? No? I keep seeing commercials for Mandalorian, and I've heard a lot about it. But Hollywood has disappointed me so much with their treatment of Star Wars. I feel like there's so much of what they've been doing with Star Wars that's just freaking awful. Awful. Got it. Good for you. Go for it. Gonna have to change up what I'm drinking. Hi, Chevrolet. Chevrolet's Vault. Are you talking? Excuse me. Are you talking about All Quiet on the Western Front or something else? Another category down. Okay. We are getting down to the wire here. The good news is that I have confidence in a few of the categories here. I feel pretty good about Hold My Hand from Top Gun Maverick. Almost everyone picked something else. Baby Yoda. I have heard a lot about Baby Yoda scenes. They're apparently pretty freaking cool. Original song. I feel like I have a good chance with that. A lot of the other categories people agree with me on, so it's not something too dramatic. Adapted screenplay. I still think I have a good chance with that, especially since All Quiet on the Western Front is grabbing some of the other awards. We'll see. Original screenplay is the one I'm really hoping for. Banshees of Inisherin. Has anyone seen Elvis? It looks like it's genuinely fun. I've been told that the lead actor is really, really good in it. I basically voted for him because he had early buzz going on, and early buzz is always valuable when it comes to the Oscars. I feel like it carries over a lot, even if people don't like the movie. Remind me never to eat on camera again. That just felt awkward. Unusual note, but one of the few shows that I can remember seeing people eating on camera was Rockford Files. All right, we're to visual effects. Visual effects, I picked Avatar: The Way of Water for what I think are obvious reasons. Having said that, the experts picked All Quiet on the Western Front. I really don't think All Quiet should win over Avatar. Avatar is literally groundbreaking effects. It's groundbreaking effects. If you think nothing else about Avatar, you think, man, that looks freaking amazing. I wonder who's in the bear costume. I hope they're not bear. I want to know who it is. I just want to know who it is. I feel like it's Will Ferrell. Just based on movement, I'm going to say it's Will Ferrell. Got it. Yeah, I do think Baby Yoda would be pretty cool. Rockford Files answering machine. What was cool about that is they got a lot of like genuine stars in order to play the different parts. You find that out later on. At some point in time, I guess it kind of became a cachet thing to be the voice on Rockford Files answering machine. People wanted to be that person. Especially since the writing was usually genuinely good. I mean, I guess there might be a lot of green screen in the whole All Quiet on the Western Front, but they literally created animated faces for Avatar, Avatar: The Way of Water, and they did it in a really cool way. Yeah, everything about the Black Panther sequel just looks like they were trying too hard, you know? I am surprised there were that many visual effects on Top Gun. Yay! And I pulled down one category. Man, that's pathetic that I'm that happy about that. What they did was really, really groundbreaking, and I say that as a photographer and someone who just appreciates like cool visual effects. That bumps my percent right up to an astounding 21%, guys. I'm getting really close to dartboard type averages. But so far, the people who are really rocking it are the average person on Oscars.com. They're outperforming both the experts and me. Go figure. One of the cool things that they did in Avatar: The Way of Water, from what I understand, I was listening to something earlier today. They're using a lot of the ideas of the actors. Sometimes whenever you have a visual performance artist, you tell them what to do, and then they go ahead and perform it for you, and they add some flourishes, and they add whatever it is. Especially in the case of someone like, I'm trying to remember the name of the guy who played in Lord of the Rings. He plays my precious. Can't do the voice right now. But in Avatar, they basically like told him what they were supposed to do, and then they let him play. And apparently, like, of all the people, Jamie Lee Curtis was especially good. White dress, I see. Dress and use the use. Wait a minute. Remind myself of that category again. Best cleavage-inducing dress. Whenever I see a cleavage-inducing dress, I drink. Cheers. What are the questions that he's asking right now? And who is that? I should recognize that performer. Oh, Colin's kid. That totally makes sense. Really close to that, Bad Wolf. From what I understand, it's really, really close to that. I think that the biggest difference is now they're able to do it in real time. So instead of mapping stuff over people's faces, they're using the red dots on their faces in real time. And then they can add stuff on top of that. So instead of apparently there's something like when someone moves their face and they're animating a face over it, you can lose stuff. But Andy Serkis, yes, thank you very much. But when you're doing the red dot thing, you're getting much closer to their actual expressions and that kind of stuff, which is kind of a cool thing. What is this? Please say hello from Black Panther. Oh, she's going to introduce best song Rihanna, right? I presume that's what she's doing. Yeah. Andy Serkis, man. Guy made a living off of people putting red dots on him while he's wearing a skin-tight green suit and being creatures. How crazy is that? That's when you have like that extra level of training of between circus training and clown training and just all those kind of trainings that you just know what you're doing better. A lot of good movement training. I'm so tempted to turn up the sound for this song coming up because I want to hear the song, but I also understand that if even a piece of a song appears in my video, I can get my YouTube video taken down, and I don't want to do that. I will say of all the songs that were nominated, there was nothing that really stood out to me in this group. Like Natu Natu was the closest one, and I thought Natu Natu did a really good job of like having something cool and upbeat, and just had like something that was great. And yeah, I'm also curious, outside of her Super Bowl performance, when I see Rihanna perform live, a lot of the times I feel like she doesn't hit the range that she normally has. I think she's an extremely talented vocalist, but when she performs live, for whatever reason, I'm guessing the nerves get to her or whatever, I feel like she misses a lot of notes. I saw her Super Bowl performance, and she didn't, but she was also supported by like a bunch of background singers and everything. Just makes me wonder. Wow. Full orchestra on stage. That's always cool. What categories are left right now? We have actress in a leading role, best actor. It should be actor in a leading role. We're still waiting on directing, which I chose The Fabelmans. Almost everyone's doing everything, everywhere, all at once. Film editing, Top Gun Maverick, that's got to be it. Original song, of course, we're going to be choosing shortly. I think this is the last of the songs, and normally, like, when they nominate all the songs, after they nominate the last song, after you hear the last song, then they go ahead and they give the award out. So I wouldn't be surprised if, like, as soon as she's done singing, they have a couple people appear on stage, and they're like, for best song, it will be. But I always think that's weird when someone just finishes a song and they have to like either awkwardly walk on stage or just go from where they're standing on stage to pick up the award. I'm also curious if they arrange the order of songs based on who they think is going to win it. So that obviously you would want the last person performing to be the person that gets the award, so that it's not some awkward thing where they're going, and the best award goes to. Oh, cool. Next up is going to be adapted screenplay instead. All right, let me see. What do we got going here? I did see adapted screenplay, right? Yeah, that's where I'm going to pick All Quiet. All Quiet should win for the following reasons. It was a book. Okay, let's get a little bit more exploratory than that. It was a book that's like 100 years old, and it's been made before, but they decided to make it recently, and I think that will make it win. Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery. Everything about the Knives Out things, they seem like really good stories. So I wouldn't be totally surprised if that won. I have no idea why Top Gun Maverick is there. I think it's a really good script. Having said that, I think this was one of those cases where they're like, okay, that's a really good script. We know it's an action film, but we're gonna give you a nomination anyway, just to recognize it's a really good script. I would be shocked to death if Top Gun Maverick won for adapted screenplay, because they don't do that. They don't give adapted screenplay to an action film. I can't think of any case where it's happened previously. Women Talking, that's the movie about the Mennonites, if I remember correctly. And that's kind of a dark subject, and I think it's too dark to win. I think it's one of those one of those things where the topic is the reason why it was nominated, but I don't think it's going to win. What else do we got here? You know, I realize why I'm saying all this. So far, none of my logic has held up. Absolutely none of it. Well, okay, 21% of my logic has held up. That's god-awful. To give you an idea of how bad I'm doing so far, let's put this in perspective. 14 categories are done. I've gotten 3 correct. There are 9 categories left. If I were to get every category right, I would just break 50%. That's if I got every category right. I don't think that's going to happen. In case you're worried about me, I have some backup scotch ready to go so that when I run out of the old fashioned that I've been drinking. Yeah, Patrick, that was my question. Adapted from what? Adapted from a comic book? Because, like you said, adapted from what? The first movie? I'm absolutely positive that someone wrote some kind of fan fiction and they're like, oh, you know what? What would happen if Maverick decided to get pulled back? But was it a book? Oh man, I was hoping for like 70 to 80% at the top of the stream. Now I'm hoping for like 40%. Right now, I'm statistically tied with guessing. Man. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once does have incredible buzz going for it, and I have to respect that. Especially since, from what everyone says, it's a really trippy film. That's a dumb joke about the guacamole on his jacket. Wow, he's really reaching. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once was destroying for nominations, but as far as wins go, let me see how many wins we got for Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. We got 1, 2. Yeah, all I'm seeing is 2 so far. Does anyone have more than 2 for Everything, Everywhere, All at Once? That's a good possibility, Bad Wolf. It just seems like it was too trippy of a film. Cleavage-inducing dress. Oops, wrong drink. Cleavage-inducing dress. Oh, this is not adapted screenplay, but I'm guessing this is original screenplay. It's got to be original screenplay. Yeah. The Banshees of Inisherin has really, really good dialogue, which is why I picked it. Having said that, man, every piece of my logic has been destroyed here in this Oscars. The Banshees of Inisherin just has really, really great dialogue, guys. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. It was nominated just because it's such a trippy concept. Fabelmans was nominated because it's Steven Spielberg. That's it. That's all it is. And it was written by Tony Kushner. Fair enough on that. I have no idea why Tar was nominated for anything, because apparently people like watching paint dry. Triangle of Sadness because they were making fun of wealthy people. That's it. And the Oscar goes to Everything Everywhere All at Once. Not happy with that choice at all. All right, original screenplay. You win, and you get another category of Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I think brings it to 3 or 4. It does bring my percent down to 20%. Which is statistical average right now. The expert picks are now at 9. And the popular picks are now at 10. So if you had just gone to the Oscar.com website, you would officially be doing better than the people who consider themselves to be experts, and you would be slaughtering the butt of this particular guy. Of this guy right here. Based on characters from the 1983 California Magazine article Top Guns. I just want to know so much what. Yeah, I want to know. Go for. You know what? Good for these guys. I'm glad that they're winning an Oscar. I think it's great. I think it's awesome that they're winning an Oscar. I don't care about the fact that because of that, because Banshees of Inisherin didn't get the win. I don't care about the fact. That doesn't matter to me. It's not a big deal. You know, based on this, why not? Let's just freaking give it to Top Gun Maverick. Let's give adapted screenplay to Top Gun Maverick. Or like, let's just give it to, I don't know, whatever the latest Jackass movie is. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all a scheme. Yeah, I believe Top Gun came out about 1984, 1985. That feels about right. I still remember like the first 30 seconds of Top Gun, where the plane takes off of the carrier. The music is just so freaking epic. The build up to that, where you got dong, 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 just the way it slowly starts building, and it's like dong. By the time like the music kicks in, running on the edge. Going into overdrive. Women talking. What are we talking about? What kind of delusions do you guys have? That's just silly. That might have been one of those categories where everyone else pulled votes away from. Oh, got to give credit to the experts. The experts bought this one. I did not expect that to win. Oh, man. The woman who won in this category looks like a friend of mine. I know it's not a friend of mine, or at least I don't think it's a friend of mine, because I think that I would have seen that they were, nominated for an Oscar and everything. Having said that, it's always interesting when you go, do I know that person? And here's the thing. When you've been in the improv world for a while, every once in a while, you do know the person. That's what makes it really weird. My percentage is down to 19%. When it gets down to 0, I am drinking the rest of this. Okay, here we go. John Abbott's percent down to 19. Making sure I got all my other numbers right. Yeah. Okay, so forgetting for a second that what was on the Oscar website, the choices on the Oscar website are statistically the same as the choices for the experts. Okay. Whatever. That happens some years. Sometimes you're trying to choose which one is the best. You get it a little bit loose or whatever, and you just choose the wrong categories. The fact that I'm at 3 correct picks right now. That's just brutal. That's just brutal on all accounts. I want to win one of the categories that no one else gets. What's left? What is left that I can get that no one else gets? I have to get Lady Gaga. I have to win that one. And I don't mean I have to win Lady Gaga in order to win anything. It's impossible for me to win anything right now. It's impossible for me to if I'm the person at the party right now, I'm the person who's getting the award for the biggest goof award, the person who apparently has never seen a movie before. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Yeah, we're just guessing anyway, right? We none of us knew which categories were gonna win. None of us care about this. Sure, you get an Oscar and you're cool at the party afterwards. But what else happens? Okay, so you get to put it on your mantle and you have friends come over and your friends recognize the fact that you have an Oscar. And okay, so you get a couple extra movies from it. You're able to walk around and be introduced as, I am an Oscar winning whatever. Sure, you get that. And in the case of Everything Everywhere All at Once, you get to say, yeah, we hauled out 4 or 5, whatever it is, Oscars so far. Come watch our film, even though it's trippy and it feels a little bit like you've done mushrooms. But come and see it anyway. Women Talking. It was a story about Mennonites. I would definitely be in the buy category. You're correct, Bad Wolf. Actually, if I were a stock, I would be in the penny stock category right now. I would be in the category where everyone would look at that particular stock and they're like, I don't even think I should buy that stock because it's so cheap that it means there's something wrong with it. I don't think I think it would be a bad mistake if you were to invest in that particular stock. I've heard about people who do that. By the way, what do you think about my background? I spent a lot of time setting this stuff up, especially the this part of it, because all I have to do is I just press a button and it switches to the next category that's kind of embedded with all that information. I know I I know it doesn't look like I did a lot of stuff here, but it really is a lot of stuff in order to like get all this working correctly. I learned a lot today. Biggest thing I learned, don't wait until the day of in order to try to figure out all the techie stuff for when it comes to doing your live stream. That's usually a mistake. Okay, where are we at here? We're back at the Dolby Theater, our final nominee. Ugh. You know, here's the thing: is they did such a great job of filming on that film. It looks freaking gorgeous. Part of what they did is because we've had so many more advances in technology, you can not only put one high definition camera inside of the cockpit of a fighter, you could put 5 of them at once, and that's what they did. I think that's kind of crazy that they were able to like put that many cameras inside of a cockpit and then go ahead and shoot and then check out the footage and then send them out again to shoot again. Apparently you have to like basically when you're doing that with Navy fighters, you have to like rent the Navy. But I guess if you're like Tom Cruise, you have that kind of money that you can be like, okay, what is that, like $1 million for a half hour? All right, we can do that. Robert Blake. Robert Blake played the part of Beretta. I don't know what else he did outside of that. I'm curious why he's not part of In Memoriam. Oh, we're at sound. Cool. Best sound. Best sound, this is pretty much a shoo-in for Top Gun Maverick. Having said that, All Quiet on the Western Front is still hauling in a bunch of stuff, and War Films, cleavage-inducing dress. And war films have a tendency to get best sound. Everybody picked Top Gun Maverick. Everybody. You have a cat, they probably picked Top Gun Maverick. I'm going to take another sip for that cleavage-inducing dress. I will say this. All Quiet on the Western Front is very immersive. It's not as immersive. What was it called? 1812? I think that was the other film. By the way, is it that we've run out of doing films about World War II, so we're all focused on World War I now? Is that the deal? I do have to see Elvis because I just think it's probably a really fun film. And I think he really nailed that part. I started watching Top Gun Maverick, and I was interrupted, and I didn't get a chance to see it while it was for free. That's an awful reason not to see a film. Hey, Top Gun Maverick. Oh, surprise. And with that, my percentage is up to 24%. It's kind of amazing how many people are like standing up for that one. Don't get me wrong. I think sound is an extremely important category. But you wouldn't expect that many people to go nuts for that. Although maybe they're going nuts for the fact that Top Gun Maverick is a really good film. And they know that it's not going to win anything. So they're like, good for you guys. You made a good popular film. we're not going to actually give it any awards, but you made a popular film. Experts are now at 11. And more important, popular picks are also at 11. Patrick, I'm curious what you thought of the music in Elvis, if it held up or if it didn't. I'm just curious if it held up. The funny thing is, like, well, maybe I'm wrong. I have a weird feeling that Elvis music might sound dated today, but I might be wrong about that. And by the way, it wasn't that it was. It had nothing to do at all except for the fact that, hold on, this year's songs. We're going to original song, right? Original song. Gotta be Hold My Hand. Why not? Give me a little bit of love. Are we still doing research on Top Gun? That's hilarious. '83 California Magazine article about Top Guns. I really do think that Naatu put on the performance of the night. I think they probably killed it better than anyone else. The dance sequence in RRR is everything. It's absolutely everything. And seeing them kind of like recreate that live is a blast. Naatu won. You know what? That's one of those cases where I'm okay with losing. Totally okay with losing. That's a fun song. They had a degree in electronics engineering? Wow. So I'm watching the closed captioning, and it's trying to say lyricist, but it put lyricist, Leercyst, lyricist. They're a lyricist. I honestly believe that this is an okay one to lose, because I think it's a really fun song. You saw they killed it right now. They absolutely killed it. My disappointment over Top Gun has so many layers to it right now. Here's the thing. If you saw the original Top Gun, especially if you saw it in the theater, it was such a fun film. And I think people have forgotten like what a fun film it was from the second that it, you know, the guy saying, I got a need for speed. Like the whole thing was just, from the beginning, was just cool and over the top. But the way that it built the relationship between him and Goose, that had everything to do with its success. It was a good bromance movie. And I feel like that was what made it such a great film, is that it was a good bromance film. Because at the moment that I spoiler alert for those of you who have not seen the first Top Gun film, he gets killed. When Goose gets killed, and everything about the just tragedy of that is played out so well. I think that's pretty cool. We're at the in memoriam section right now. I'm always curious about how they go about picking the person who's going to do the in memoriam introduction, because they have to have someone who's going to have the right kind of like seriousness, so they're not like, hey, we're going to talk about people who died, so we miss them. Here we go. They have to have someone who can like deliver that kind of like standard speech about we miss them. We appreciate the craft of what they bought. We love them for everything they bought to movie making, and we hope to remember them for the legends that they are. Blah 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 blah. And there's always one person or one image that gets me, and I'm like, oh yeah, I really, you find yourself with a tiny lump in your throat because you realize, oh yeah, I really like that person's work, and I'm sorry that they're gone. I remember feeling that hardcore with Robin Williams that year. Having said that, oh geez, and then of course they put Olivia Newton-John. Olivia Newton-John was my first musical crush. She was not only my first musical crush, she might have been my first crush in general. I still think she's a fabulous singer, and if you ever get a chance to see her singing in live rehearsals during shows, there's a great video that's online of her, four of the members of ABBA. I shouldn't say four of the members of ABBA. ABBA. It's her, ABBA, and Andy Gibb, I think that's his name, and they're all kind of rehearsing for a show, and it starts from the moment where they're like waiting for everyone to set up so they can go ahead and start playing music, and she's dead on. She's perfectly in tune the entire time. She's perfectly musical. She's perfectly great, and when you hear her singing live, you're like, that's obviously this is pre-auto-tune, pre-everything. Just dead on musically brilliant. I think we're missing a little bit of that right now because as people are able to auto-tune themselves better, they don't have to be perfect. And so they don't work at it as hard so that they're right on the note every single time. Yeah, that's sad. That's super sad. So, of course, they show Olivia Newton-John right up top. And as I'm talking about what bullshit it is, I'm like, really? Okay. All right, Olivia Newton-John. Categories we still have to go. Best actor, actress in a leading role. I should say actor in a leading role, actress in a leading role. Directing, film editing, unless I missed that somewhere along the line, and Best Picture. Physical is an absolute classic. I had such a crush on her, but Physical was when she was both sexy and having fun at the same time. I think she understood that like she was being seen as a sex symbol and decided to kind of like go, I can't take myself seriously as a sex symbol, but if I play it up as like a fun thing, then I can do that. At least that's the feel that I always got from it. What do I know? Of the categories that we have left, these are all pretty much already decided upon. With the exception of directing. Yeah, with the exception of directing. Well, film editing, we could go two different places. Wow. Can't believe I got not too wrong. But that's okay. Oh, Raquel Welch. That would have been another Raquel Welch. Okay. They're going to go to commercial break after an in memoriam because they always do, because otherwise it's awkward to go from in memoriam to someone going ahead and introducing another category. Things that we still have left, presuming I didn't miss the editing category. I don't think I did. That would be embarrassing if I did. If anyone saw them introduce film editing, let me know. I'm going to go online really quickly and see if I missed a category. Because that's always possible. Do 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 do. Here's the other thing that I think is interesting is usually they use the Oscars as ways to go ahead and do an advertising for any film that really, really needs some kind of a hype. And it's always fascinating to me to see which movies they are trying to hype during the Oscars for that reason. Let's see what we found so far. I'm not finding a running list of Oscar winners. Normally there's like a running whatever. Oh, here we go. Live updates. Top Gun Maverick for best sound, of course. I really didn't expect Women Talking to win one. That's probably my biggest surprise so far. Original score for All Quiet on the Western Front and production. Naatu for song. Oof. I didn't even notice that there were blue ribbons. Film editing. This is the category that I was worried that I had missed. Good. Apparently I haven't. As you can tell, I'm trying to pick Top Gun Maverick. And here's the reason why. It is an action film. An action film almost always wins because they have to do the very snappy editing that makes an action film work. The Banshees of Inisherin is a pretty good film from what I've seen. I don't expect it to win. Everything Everywhere All at Once, possible. Tar, no. Elvis, I don't think so. So this is basically between Top Gun Maverick and Everything Everywhere All at Once. I mean, Everything Everywhere All at Once has won so many awards right now. Would you be surprised? Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm glad that the Banshees of Inisherin have won so many awards. It's too bad that it's not winning. Excuse me, that was nominated. It's too bad it's not winning anything. Tar was grating. It was literally grating. I mean, it's got guys slapping each other on the butt. Why wouldn't you want to go watch Top Gun Maverick with all that bromance going on? And the Oscar goes to Everything Everywhere All at Once. Wow. Brutal. Brutal, 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 brutal. Not only is this my worst performance ever at picking the Oscars, like ever, not even close. But the fact that I'm getting beat in so many of these categories, the fact that the experts are getting extra points, ugh. That's just brutal. Hot dog fingers, you're right. Hot dog fingers are everything, guys. Put together a movie that has hot dog fingers, and you got a good chance. We're down to directing Actor, actress, and best film. I am not hopeful tonight. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't think that they're going to win for. Well, no, you can't say that, John. I really did believe that Fablemans were going to win. If I had to say right now, Everything Everywhere All at Once has all the momentum going behind it. There are certain years where there's one film that just sweeps everything because for whatever reason, it just captures something that the Oscars really likes. And I think this is going to be one of those years where they just go ahead and brutally beat down everyone. We're at 10:10 right now, so we are running late. Well, we might not be running late. I don't know when they were scheduled to last until. Who knows? Maybe we're still before daylight saving time. 2 awards presented for directing, 1 for comedy, 1 for drama. Let's go to directing. Okay. So, Tar will not win. Triangle of Sadness will not win. Banshees of Inisherin is really good. It's not going to win. It's between Everything Everywhere All at Once or The Fablemans. If I had to put money on something right now, I would definitely do Everything All at Once. By the way, I was so confident in my votes before tonight that I was thinking of like placing some money on it. So glad I didn't. I would have been just watching that money disappear and just like counting the dollar bills throwing their way out the window right now. And it goes to the Daniels. Dun, 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 for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Go figure. Ah, they're all crying. That's cool. That's super cool. That brings my percentage right back down to guessing percentage. The worst thing about this is now I can't post anymore that I'm really good at picking the Oscars because I have proof that at least this year I did the worst job humanly possible of doing it. Also, the experts are now pulling away, which still annoys me. I would have been completely okay if the experts' opinion and popular picks were the same. Genius does not stem like individuals like us on stage, but rather genius emerges from the collective. Okay, so we're down to 3 categories: actor, actress, and best picture. And even if I manage to get all of these 3 categories correct, and based on my picks, I'm going to get, based on the results so far, I'm going to get 2 picks correct. So I'll at least break 20%. Having said that, By the way, thanks everyone for watching, who's been watching. My guess is we're down to like the last 10 minutes of this, maybe a little bit less. I appreciate you coming and checking this out and suffering with me through this. By the way, how cool is it to be the person on the stage who gets to be the first person that congratulates someone for winning an Oscar? I also want to know what it is with that little area that they have where the camera circles around the people that have just won. I want to know if that's an automated camera or if there's some poor person with a Steadicam that has to do that every single time. And if so, how do they not trip on their wires? Okay. My biggest upsets so far, things I'm most annoyed about. I'm going to have to say that I'm most annoyed by costume design because Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris feels like an easy peasy one for winning best costume. I'm annoyed by documentary feature film because my gut told me to pick Nalvani and I didn't go with my gut. I'm disappointed in documentary short film because I just discounted Elephant Whisperers right away. In fact, I had a friend call me up and tell me that I had forgotten to like review the Elephant Whisperers in my film, and I was like, no, I didn't forget. I just didn't even think it was worth like talking about. International feature film, I got right. Makeup and hairstyling, I got right. Original score. The fact that All Quiet on the Western Front won original score could not annoy me more. That's just goofy. The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, that was my second choice, so I'm okay with. I'm okay with that. Live action short film. Got that just wrong. Adapted screenplay. Woman Talking was probably, if I were honest, my second to last choice. Original screenplay. Banshees of Inisherin should have won. I'm sure that Everything All at Once is an original screenplay. Having said that, Banshees of Inisherin, the only reason why it's in any of these categories is because it is a very well written script, and I feel like that should have been rewarded. I feel like Everything Everywhere All at Once is a great combination of performers and yeah. I was just watching a commercial for something that looked like it was Everything Everywhere All at Once, but it was just apparently something that was with the same performers. I'm curious if anyone's left here, and if they are, what movie do you think I need to see? Based on the movies that you've seen, what movie do you think I need to see? I will tell you the movies that I have seen and movies that I plan to see. The movies that I have seen so far is Western Front. At least most of it. I haven't seen all of it. I've seen the beginning of Tar. I've seen pieces of Turning Red. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. I do want to see Elvis. I do want to see Avalou. I definitely want to see Fire and Love, I think it's called. Fire of Love. I don't want to see a house made of splinters, but I feel like I need to because it's about an orphanage, and I feel like I just feel like I should watch that one. I definitely want to see Babylon. Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris is apparently just a lighthearted, really fun film. I do need to see pieces of Avatar because it's supposed to be just gorgeous. Yeah, I completely agree. I might have to list my second choice. Most of my second choices are listed in the video that I made before this. Having said that, I'm gonna have to go back and see how many of my second choices actually ended up winning. Because I basically in the video that I made, I said, I think this has a good choice, but I think this movie is going to win. Like, I did a lot of those kind of things. So I'm going to have to go back and see if I'm just deluding myself that I got a lot of those right, or if I just didn't even get close. I think Austin Butler is going to win this. Now, having said that, I've been wrong about everything. The good news is Everything Everywhere All at Once isn't in this category. So, in my opinion, it has a tendency to go down to Brendan Fraser or Austin Butler. This guy is apparently really good in here, but I don't think he was given a lot to do. Good point, Bad Wolf. Yeah, I do think that there were a lot of movies that were, there were a lot of categories where there were statistical ties. And there were other categories where like the politics was not as clear cut. Sometimes the politics are so clear cut where you're like, oh, this is going to win because of the politics. This year there was like, well, this could win because of the politics, and this could win because of the politics. All depending on what the politics are. I know absolutely nothing about Aftersun. However, that's part of the reason why I didn't pick it. If something is so much underneath the radar that you don't know anything about it, this is supposed to be about an older guy who who basically decides to change his life and change everything about his life, and he befriends a very young lady who everyone thinks he's having an affair with. I think that hits too close to Hollywood's heart, or not heart, a different organ. So I don't think it's going to win because of that. And the winner is Austin Butler. Oh, I'm wrong. It wasn't Austin Butler. Brendan Fraser. I can't even get my last minute picks right. But this was my secondary one. I think so. As my percent right drops down to 19. Wow. Look at those reactions. Wow. That's a cool reaction. I'm going to try to see Daisy Jones and the Six because I have heard a lot about that. And the more I hear about it, the more I'm convinced that I just need to see it. I forgot to put this category up on the screen. My apologies, guys. That's where I was. We're about to go to actress in a leading role because that's the way this works. And then it'll probably go to directing, and then... Excuse me. No, we did directing already, didn't we? Did we do directing? Yes, we did. We did directing already. So it's going to go to Best Actress. I'm trying to remember what I know Brendan Fraser from, and I can't think of anything. And I know I've seen him before in something else. Having said so, I did hear a lot of good things about his performance in this. So, good for him. And if you see the clips are apparently heartbreaking. One of the more common things that I heard about it is that it's hard to watch because it's so heartbreaking. Which is that's a kind of cool thing to say about it. What else do we have here? Everyone's like, yay, you made a movie about a normal person. Actress in the leading role. I'm guessing Michelle, right? Michelle Yeoh. I mean, how could it not win another category? Cate Blanchett will not win this. She will not. She won't. Ana de Armas made a movie about an actress who is abused in Hollywood. That will not win. Michelle Williams is apparently great in The Fabelmans. She will not win. I don't even remember what To Leslie is about, but I don't expect it to win. I actually felt sorry for her while watching the whole thing, because she was given such a crappy part. My guess is To Leslie is one of those films that's kind of like it's a Cannes Film Festival kind of a film. And it got nominated for this because it's a really great part. But they're still not going to give it to her. She was apparently really good in this because she was given such a hard part to play, of just being this kind of like weirdly alternative mom. Sure, let's call it that. Michelle Yeoh, Everything Everywhere at Once. Someone's gonna have to explain to me why she puts those googly eyes on her forehead, because I presume that's more than just someone pasting a googly eye on their forehead, that there's some deeper meaning to it. And the winner is, for Everything Everywhere All at Once, again, Michelle Yeoh. Which brings my percent up to 23%. Yay. Guys, I broke average. I shouldn't say I broke average. I broke random guess. I'm going to talk a little bit here because my feeling is that she's going to speak for a bit. And why not? You win an Oscar, you're nominated for Best Actor and Best Actress, you're going to talk for a little bit. That's kind of your right. We have one category left. That category is going to be Best Picture. While she's talking, I'm going to go over why each film will or won't win in my brain. I literally thought Women Talking had 0 chance of winning. Now I'm giving it a 2% chance right now. Triangle of Sadness does have 0 chance. Top Gun does have zero chance because it's an action film. Tar should have less than 0% chance because it's boring as shit. The Banshees of Inisherin looks like it's an entertaining film, and it's Irish. It's not going to win. Avatar: The Way of Water. It is a CG film, and Hollywood doesn't like CG films because it puts them out of acting, or at least they believe it does. All Quiet on the Western Front has a small chance, as would Elvis, as would The Fabelmans. Having said that, I'm still going with Everything Everywhere All at Once. She might as well just stay up there and just be like, are you giving this next one to me too? Because I might as well hang up here. If I were her, I would just, say, can I just wait on the side over here near the curtains and see if you're going to call me out again? By the way, can I get a 2-for-1 deal on these Oscars? She's thanking her godchildren. Who else are you going to thank, lady? Good for you. All right, move along. You're going to be back up there in a minute anyway, so. All right. Who's going to introduce Best Picture? I'm trying to. Oh, good for her. She's very, very happy. I like seeing the happy cries in the audience, especially when it's the filmmaker or someone who's like just, they had their vision and their vision. Oh God, who else are you gonna have give out a? Look at that, buddy. That's your guy. That's your buddy. Short Round. Speaking of which, imagine like your first co-star is Harrison Ford. And here you are, it has to be at least 4 decades later, something like that. And now you're watching him give away the Best Picture award. If he gets to go up there and hug Harrison Ford, what an iconic moment that's going to be, right? Right? Oh God, what's his name? I'm looking it up. If Hai Kwan, and keep in mind, guys, I'm trying to pronounce it off of reading it. I'm not hearing the same pronunciation that you're hearing. If Everything Everywhere All at Once wins, and he gets to go up there with the cast, and he gets to thank his old friend Harrison Ford, how cool is that going to be? That like full circle moment. And the Oscar goes to, yeah, I'm going to try to do a Harrison Ford. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yeah. Guys, you got to invite him up. You got to invite the rest of the cast up there. Of course you do. I want to see him be greeted by Harrison Ford. There he goes. That's the hug right there. He gave Harrison Ford a kiss. That's super freaking cool. Look at Spielberg. Spielberg looks like a proud dad right now. He's just out of his mind. How cool. How cool is that? All right, guys, if I'm going to perform this poorly, that's a good way to end the Oscars. With the guy who played Short Round getting an award and getting his film, the film that he won an award in, get presented Best Picture by Harrison Ford. That's a cool little full circle moment, isn't it, guys? I can now say that topped I've topped 1 out of 4. I'm slightly better than guessing. The experts got 70%, which is pretty good, but below what I would normally get. Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones. Good callback, man. The folks who voted on Oscar.com got roughly 61% of their choices right. Everyone performed better than me. I'm going to log off, guys, because I have to grab myself some real food right now, and I think that's pretty much it. Have a good night. Hope you had fun. Thanks for dropping by. I really do appreciate anyone who hung out and watched this with me. This is not as fun as I expected it to be. God, it wasn't anywhere near as fun as I expected it to be. But it was kind of cool. That's a cool ending. That's the kind of a Hollywood ending I'm looking for. Have a good night, everyone.